Welcome to the Entertainer Spotlight Podcast, where we dive into the fascinating lives and histories of some of the most talented entertainers of all time. From musicians to actors, comedians to dancers, join us for a behind-the-scenes look at the people who bring joy and entertainment into our lives. Get ready to be entertained. James Douglas Muir Leno was born April 28, 1950 in New Rochelle, New York. His homemaker mother Catherine was born in Greenock, Scotland and came to the United States at age 11. His father Angelo was an insurance salesman born in New York. Leno grew up in Andover, Massachusetts and graduated from Andover High School. He obtained a bachelor's degree in speech therapy from Emerson College in Boston, where he started a comedy club in 1973. Leno made his first appearance on The Tonight Show on March 2, 1977, performing a comedy routine. During the 1970s, he had minor roles in several television series and films. His first role was in the 1976 episode of Good Times, J.J. in Trouble. Also in 1976, he appeared in the pilot of Holmes and Yo-Yo. After an uncredited appearance in the 1977 film Fun with Dick and Jane, he played more prominent roles in 1978 in American Hot Wax and Silver Bears. His other film and television appearances from that period include Almost Heaven in 1978, Going Nowhere, One Day at a Time and Americathon in 1979, Polyester in 1981, The Wild One in 1981, Alice and Both Feminine Mistake in 1979, and Do the Carmine in 1983 on Laverne and Shirley. His only starring film role was the 1989 direct-to-video Collision Course with Pat Morita. He also appeared numerous times on Late Night with David Letterman. He also appeared on 3 weeks of the short-lived NBC game show, Match Game and Hollywood Squares Hour in 1983 and 1984. Leno was a regular substitute host for Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show from 1986 until taking over the role in 1992. He also continued to perform as a stand-up comedian throughout his Tonight Show tenure. In 2004, Leno signed a contract extension with NBC to retain him as host of The Tonight Show until 2009. Later that year, Conan O'Brien signed a contract with NBC to become the show's host in 2009, replacing Leno at that time. During the 2007 to 2008 Writers Guild of America strike, Leno was accused of violating WGA guidelines by writing his own monologue for The Tonight Show. NBC and Leno claimed there were private meetings with the WGA where a secret agreement was reached allowing this, yet the WGA denied such meetings. Leno answered questions in front of the Writers Guild of America West Trial Committee in February and June of 2009, and when the WGAW published its list of strikebreakers on August 11, 2009, Leno was not on it. On April 23, 2009, Leno checked himself into a hospital with an undisclosed illness. He was released the following day and returned to work on Monday, April 27th. The two subsequently canceled Tonight Show episodes for April 23rd and 24 were his first in 17 years as host. The illness was not initially disclosed, but Leno later told People magazine that it was for exhaustion. Leno's show continued to lead all late-night programming in the Nielsen ratings, and the pending expiration of his contract led to speculation about whether he would become a late-night host for another network when his commitment to NBC expired. On December 8, 2008, it was reported that Leno would remain on NBC and move to a new hour-long show at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central Time 5 nights a week. They would follow a similar format to The Tonight Show, be filmed in the same studio, and retain many of Leno's most popular segments after O'Brien would become host of The Tonight Show on June 1, 2009. Leno's new show, The Jay Leno Show, debuted on September 14, 2009. It was announced at the Television Critics Association's summer press tour that it would feature 1 or 2 celebrities, occasional musical guests, and keep the popular headline segments, which would be near the end of the show. In their new roles, neither O'Brien nor Leno succeeded in delivering the viewing audiences the network anticipated. On January 7, 2010, multiple media outlets reported that beginning March 1, 2010, Leno would move from his 10 p.m. weeknight time slot to 11:35 p.m. due to a combination of pressure from local affiliates whose newscasts were suffering, and Leno's show would be shortened from an hour to 30 minutes. All NBC late-night programming would also be preempted by the 2010 Winter Olympics between February 15th and 26, moving The Tonight Show to 12:05 a.m. This was the first post-midnight time slot in its history. O'Brien's contract stipulated that NBC could move the show ahead to 12:05 a.m. without penalty. On January 10th, NBC confirmed that they would move Leno out of primetime as of February 12th and move him to late night as soon as possible. TMZ reported that O'Brien was given no advance notice of this change and that NBC offered him two choices: an hour-long 12:05 a.m. time slot or the option to leave the network. On January 12, O'Brien issued a press release that he would not continue with Tonight if it moved to a 12:05 a.m. time slot, saying, "I believe that delaying The Tonight Show into the next day to accommodate another comedy program will seriously damage what I consider to be the greatest franchise in the history of broadcasting. The Tonight Show at 12:05 simply isn't The Tonight Show." On January 21, it was announced that NBC had struck a deal with O'Brien. Leno would leave The Tonight Show, receive a $33 million payout, and his staff of almost 200 would receive $12 million in the departure. His final episode aired on Friday, January 22, 2010. Leno returned as host of The Tonight Show following the 2010 Winter Olympics on March 1, 2010. On July 1, 2010, Variety reported that total viewership for Leno's Tonight Show had dropped from 5 million to 4 million for the second quarter of 2010 compared to the same period in 2009. Although it represented the show's lowest second quarter ratings since 1992, The Tonight Show was still the most watched late-night program. On April 3, 2013, NBC announced that Leno would leave The Tonight Show in spring 2014 with Jimmy Fallon as his designated successor. Leno's final show as the host of The Tonight Show was on February 6, 2014. Since leaving The Tonight Show, Leno has maintained an active schedule as a touring stand-up comedian, doing an average of 200 live performances a year in venues across the United States and Canada, at charity events and USO tours. He has also appeared on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and was a guest on the finale of The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. He appeared in a cameo role drilling and tormenting James Corden in a facetious boot camp for talk show hosts on the premiere of The Late Late Show with James Corden. He declined an invitation to appear on The Late Show with David Letterman despite speculation he would appear on the show's finale in 2015. Leno hosted a one-hour Jay Leno's Garage special on CNBC, and the show has aired as a primetime series on the cable channel since 2015. He has also had a recurring role in the Tim Allen comedy series Last Man Standing since Season 5, playing a mechanic Joe Leonard. Leno has hosted the third revival of the game show You Bet Your Life since its premiere in fall 2021, and it was renewed for a second season. Leno also does voice acting such as the Crimson Chin on The Fairly Odd Parents from 2001 to 2016 and Billy Beagle of Mickey and the Roadster Racers. Leno has faced criticism for his perceived role in the 2010 Tonight Show conflict. Critics have cited a 2004 Tonight Show clip where Leno said he would allow O'Brien to take over without incident. At the time, Leno said he did not want O'Brien to leave for a competing network, adding, "I'll be 59 when the switch occurs. That's 5 years from now. There's really only one person who could have done this into his 60 seconds, and that was Johnny Carson, and I think it's fair to say I'm no Johnny Carson." Leno also described The Tonight Show as a dynasty, saying, "You hold it and hand it off to the next person, and I don't want to see all the fighting." At the end of the segment, he said, "Conan, it's yours. I'll see you in 5 years, buddy." Leno has been married to Mavis Leno since 1980. In 1993, during his first season as host of The Tonight Show, Leno's mother died at the age of 82, and the next year his father died at 84. Leno's older brother, Patrick, who was a Vietnam veteran and graduate of Yale Law School, died of cancer in 2002 at the age of 62. Leno is dyslexic and claims to need only 4 or 5 hours of sleep each night. He does not consume alcohol, smoke, or gamble. He spends much of his free time visiting car collections and working in his private garage. Leno has claimed that he has not spent any of the money he earned from The Tonight Show, but lives off of his money from his stand-up routines. He reportedly earned $32 million in 2005. In 2014, he received an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters degree from Emerson College, where he also delivered the commencement speech. He also received an honorary doctorate of Humane Letters from Academy of Art University in 2021. On November 12, 2022, Leno suffered serious burns to his face and hands when a vehicle at his Los Angeles garage burst into flames. As part of the treatment, he received a new ear. Then on January 17, 2023, he sustained multiple broken bones after falling off a motorcycle. In 2001, he and his wife donated $100,000 to the Feminist Majority Foundation's campaign to stop gender apartheid in Afghanistan and to educate the public regarding the plight of women in Afghanistan under Taliban rule. Mavis Leno is on the board of the Feminist Majority. In 2009, he donated $100,000 to a scholarship fund at Salem State College, now known as Salem State University, in honor of Lenny Sokoloff, who gave Leno his start at his jazz club Lenny's on the Turnpike. In August 2012, Leno auctioned his Fiat 500, which was sold for $385,000, with all the proceeds going to a charity that helps wounded war veterans recover by providing them with temporary housing. As of November 2022, Leno sponsors 2 scholarships at McPherson College. Since 1985, Leno has been the Grand Marshal for the Love Ride. This motorcycle charity event was founded in 1984 and has raised nearly $14 million for charities benefiting muscular dystrophy research, Autism Speaks, and in 2001, the September 11th attacks recovery. Leno owns approximately 286 vehicles that consists of 169 cars and 117 motorbikes. He also has a website and a TV program called Jay Leno's Garage, which contains video clips and photos of his car collection in detail as well as other vehicles of interest to him. Among his collection are 2 double steam cars, a sedan and a roadster that were owned by Howard Hughes, the 5th Duesenberg Model X known to survive, and one of 9 remaining 1963 Chrysler turbine cars. The collection also includes 3 antique electric cars and his wife's favorite 1909 Baker motor vehicle. He has a regular column in Popular Mechanics which showcases his car collection and gives advice about various automotive topics including restoration and unique models such as his jet-powered motorcycle and solar-powered hybrid. Leno also writes occasional motor mouth articles for the Sunday Times reviewing high-end sports cars and giving his humorous take on motoring matters. To say Jay Leno is a busy man would be a huge understatement. And, as you can see, laughter does pay off. It's been said, you can take a man's money, but in the end, you've only taken his money. But if he spends some time with you, then he has given you a part of his life. Thank you so much for sharing a part of your life with us today. We hope you will subscribe to our channel so you will be notified when our next episode is available. Until next time, keep learning, growing, and living your best life.